any of you guys heard of Dave Weckl? No? Okay, so Dave Weckl is a drummer. He's like my hero. One of many sort of drumming heroes. So if you're into drums, you should definitely check out Dave Weckl. He's like every drummer needs to listen to Dave Weckl. So there's a particular interesting story about this particular song, which was when I first started playing drums, I was like really young, and I grew up in a Pentecostal black church, and all we listened to was like black American gospel music or hymnals. So I just played drums like literally just like 4/4 groove. That's all I ever did. And I thought I was the bee's knees. I thought I was like the best thing since sliced bread. There's no drummer like me. And then a friend of mine just handed me a Dave Weckl track, and this is the first song I ever heard, and it completely blew my mind. And it completely changed the way I thought about drums. In fact, to be honest, it made me really quite depressed. I thought, well, I can't play drums. And then I thought, well, maybe I should give up. But of course, there's such a passion in me for drums that I thought, well, actually, I took it as a challenge. I thought, well, I'm going to need to learn, really kind of re-educate myself about what drumming is and just the breadth of different genres and musical styles and what you can do with drums. And so that song was a wake-up call for me, the importance, and I'm going to say this quite a lot today, of musical vocabulary, which is in the same way in which the more you read, the more thoughts you have, the more of a thinker you can become. The more music you listen to, the wider the scope or the bigger your musical vocabulary, which is really important as a drummer or somebody who wants to be a drummer. And it's particularly important when you're a worship drummer as well. Just that having that breadth of musical knowledge that you can grab hold of whenever you need to. So that's my Dave Weckl story. So for today, it won't be a long session. It's not a drum lesson, but there is going to be lots of sort of practical elements, and I want you guys to get involved as much as possible. So it's not going to be a drum lesson, but it will be. I will obviously share with you what I've done in my life and how I've developed as a drummer from that young little kid that thought it was great to a drummer sort of 28 years later. And then we'll talk about the worship context. Most of you guys, obviously, Ivy's put this event on. You guys are the drummers for Ivy, and excuse me. And let's talk about worship, and let's talk about some tips and some things that maybe we can do to improve your drumming, but also improve your appreciation of how important you are in the context of worship. So, is that all right? Does that sound like a plan? Yeah? Good. Okay, so first things first, we'll, like I said, I'm a practical guy, so we'll get practical straight away. The first thing we're going to talk about is pocket. Has anybody heard of the word pocket before? We all know what a pocket is. But in a musical sense, and obviously I don't teach music theory. Yeah, so there's a million guys out there that teach music theory. But some terms that are very kind of generic or common in musical circles is the word pocket. And it's the pocket is simply, it's you having your own personal pulse. It's what your personal pulse is when you're playing drums. And it's also very much about listening to all the musicians around you and then tuning in or being sensitive to what all the musicians are doing. Okay, so the second part to pocket, the first part is obviously just what you're listening to, what you're referencing as you're playing. The second part to it is the inner pulse that I talked about. So what I used to do as a child is I would, when the phone used to ring, it was an old-fashioned phone, so it used to go, ring, ring, and then there'd be a gap, and then ring, ring, gap, ring, and then in those gaps, I'd be filling the gaps with either a song or some kind of drum pattern, and then of course sometimes the phone would ring before I'd finished what I'd done, so obviously my timing was out, so then I'd develop it to a point whereby it would ring, and then I'd almost play in my head, a drum loop that was perfect in the slot of the intervening rings. And so internal pulse is what every drummer should aim for. So whether you've got a click or if a click drops out, you can still play. So last year, for example, I was playing with Adam's sister, and she turned up with some tracks, but no click. And where's the click? There is no click. We're playing that big church day out in front of thousands of people. But because I've got an internal pulse, I pull it in there, you lock onto something, and I play the whole set, with no click in my ears. So it's all about, so developing your pulse really helps in terms of developing your overall pocket. Okay? No? Okay. Yeah, so my journey was just that. I used to listen to kind of black gospel, and that was about it. And I'm talking like 80s black gospel, which wasn't very exciting. It was just the same repetitive thing over and over again. And then, like I said earlier, I then got introduced to Dave Weckl, and my life changed forever. And I then realised there was more to music than just black gospel, which was great, but there's a whole lot more. And then I became fascinated with music as just as a thing. So I would then listen to classical music, and Ravel's Bolero was my favorite classical piece, and then I'd listen to prog rock was really difficult, but then prog rock gigs pay you quite a bit, so there's a bit of an incentive there. But you then begin to realise that music, it demystifies music. There's lots of different musical genres, but they all kind of had the same kind of telltale signs, and that each song is trying to tell you a story. So it does have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you begin to realise that actually all music is I suppose is relative, which I suppose is not really helpful, but it's it's demystified. There's a lot more in common in different genres of music than things that separate them, and so. It's really important that you begin to feed the musician within, even with stuff that it thinks it doesn't want to receive. So the more, if you're a jazzer and that's all you want to do, that's great. But I've often found that I love jazz, but because I also love country, I do love country, and because I love funk, that like my jazz swing it's slightly different because of that, but I like the way my jazz swings. So it swings with a bit of a country edge, and it swings with a bit of a funk undertone to it. So the more music you listen to, it just informs the way you play. And the more appreciation of different genres, it means you begin to set your drums up in different ways, you begin to develop your sound. So if I'm doing a rock gig, this is not the setup for a rock gig, it's more that kind of setup with very baggy and loose tones. It begins your appreciation of how you set your kit up for the gig that you're doing. So it's just something to bear in mind. It's not, it might not be something you take, but for me, I really enjoy the fact that I'm a versatile drummer. So no two gigs are the same. So one week I can be playing pop, and the next week I'm playing reggae and ska, and then literally next week I'm playing Motown. Literally in the last 2 weeks I've done a Motown gig with a Four Tops tribute act, and I've also played Motown gig, and I've also played like with 3 Degrees, so it's like some of the vein. But then I've also done like a big band swing gig fairly recently, and that was completely different roast. But it's just I love the fact that I'm getting calls of people who specialise in big band, and getting calls of people who specialise in R&B and jazzers and all sorts. It's just for me, it's exciting. I love all different genres of music, but I've learned to love it. I didn't always love it, and it's just the more you kind of get involved, the more you begin to appreciate it. Actually, I mean, I'm a late comer to Beatles. I didn't really listen to Beatles for ages, but now I love the Beatles. I think it's amazing. I think McCartney's an amazing writer, and Lennon's just off the chain. But ask me that 20 years ago, I would have said, yeah, maybe not. But, so. And the real benefit to sort of listening to different genres is You don't get pigeonholed, like I say. It informs it forms the way you play. Um, it's flexibility. It means that you as a musician, you're more flexible. So in any given situation, there's the ability to be able to reference something that you've heard, and then be able to introduce it to what you're playing. I hope this is making sense. Just tell me if this is not making sense. Yeah. Okay. Um, and so, in terms of the flexibility, and it also makes playing more fun, I think. I just find that if I'm playing a rock song but thinking of swing, it just makes it fun for me in my quirky little way. And I just want to demonstrate that now. We're going to talk a little bit about the roles and responsibilities um, of the drummer in the worship band. So, but before I do, I just wanted to, because we're all Christians, just bring in some Exodus 35, chapter 35, tells the story of a guy it's called Bezalel. Bezalel. Now, Bezalel was, God told Moses, Bezalel, I poured my spirit into him, and I've given him my wisdom, and he's like got to be like an amazing, skilled craftsman. So he will design your temple, and he will design the way everything's supposed to be laid out. Because I've given him that gift. So God gives us gifts. The point is, he's the one that gives us the artisan spirit. So as musicians, we have that artisan spirit. It comes from God, and even from the beginning of Scripture, it talks about how He's the one that pours His Spirit and gives that gift. And of course, Psalms 150 talks about let everything that have breath praise the Lord. So praise God on the cymbals, praise Him on the tambourine, praise Him on the horns and flutes, the harps, the lyres, and everything else. And so we understand. So clearly, our role is quite pivotal. The artisan in the Old Testament was going to build the temple. Obviously we house the temple, and we have the privilege of leading God's people in worship of our King. And so the role that we have is absolutely enormous, and such a privilege as well. So I always come with that heart, and I always find great joy in serving in that role. And I hope you do. I hope you guys do too. So with that comes some responsibilities. What do you think the primary responsibility? What do you think the primary responsibility of the drummer is then in the worship context?
I would say part of it is to serve the worship leader.
Mm-hmm.
If they're in that position of leadership, then it's to serve their vision, their, musical and worship generally.
Yeah,
Their plan.
yeah, I would agree. That's number one on my list, to be a worshipper himself and to have a servant's heart. So you're there to serve, you're there to provide a platform to serve the worship leader who has that task of.
Keeping time, I know that sounds really boring.
Yeah,
But if that's out, it can be really distracting.
absolutely.
Distract away from what you're doing.
Yeah. Keeping time? Anything else?
Yeah, is that being alarmed like bit like you need to keep in mind the tone, but also, for example, that for response, you're going to be like a lively song.
Great answer. So I've got that down there as well, being sensitive. Yeah, sensitivity is absolutely crucial for the reason that you just stated. That you really have to be aware of what God's doing. So even though you've rehearsed your songs, actually it's His church, it's His event. He's the one that's going to show up. That's what we all want. So when God does show up, it's entirely up to Him what He does. And we've all got to be sensitive to that. Anything else? Not showing off? Yeah? Yeah, it goes against it goes against the servant heart, then it becomes about you, doesn't it? Yeah. But when you say not showing off, how does that, Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so all of those answers are fine. Yeah, all of those are exactly. I suppose the one you've not said yet is absolutely know the song you're playing. So you talked about singing time, but really it's absolutely knowing the song. So you know before I talked about being flexible and having fun with the song? You can't really have fun with the song unless you know the song. So if the worship leader said, these are the 5 songs we learned this week, then learn the 5, learn the 5 songs. Nail the 5 songs so they're absolutely nailed. It's better if you don't have paper, but if you need paper to note, then note. But if you know the 5 songs, then you can immediately relax it. So when I play, you can often, well, I know when I've not learnt the song, and maybe I've been given a set last minute, I've got to make lots of notes, and I'm not relaxed. But there's no better feeling than worshipping, and you're totally relaxed because you know the song. There's nothing to think about. You're just worshipping too. You know, you just become part of the whole worship experience. So know the song. I think that's really important. And then once you're prepared, then like I said earlier, be prepared to be flexible. Yeah, it may not go the way it did in rehearsal on the Thursday. On the Sunday, it might be completely different, and then it's having that ability. So I only discovered this song today, and I thought that like perfectly kind of illustrates what I wanted to say around sensitivity, and about like what one or two of you said, that obviously don't go crazy. If it's a nice quiet prayerful moment, you just got to be sympathetic to that and sensitive to that. So.
You be the fire, let me burn for you. To live for you only, to honor your heart, let me burn for you. Fire is attracted to sacrifice, a heart that's abandoned to you. So pour out the oil of your infinite love, let me burn for you.
Okay, so we'll just pray, if that's all right? Yeah, so Heavenly Father, we just want to honor you. We are mindful that all good gifts come from you, and we are just so privileged to be gifted with music, the ability to charm your spirit in your house, and to be those people who will stand in the gap and to lift your name up in praise. And you know, we love what we do, and we just pray, Lord, that you will just continue to just bless us, and you know that your grace will be with us, and you know we'll take this responsibility seriously, and that we will work on what you've given us. You know, like the men with the talents. You know, you gave 1 10, 1 5, 1, but you know the one that had a 10, one that had a 5 worked on it, Lord. We just ask that you just give us that heart, that commitment to work upon what you've given us, so that it may bring more fruit for you, and that your name will be glorified. We ask this now in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thanks, fellas. Yeah, good. Enjoyed it.